versus Vici Gaming. And then we have the 1v1s, but we're going to head towards the second draft in our first semi-final of the upper bracket very shortly. Our 3 panel members are all ready to discuss that very thing. Lacoste, Winter, and Cap are all back with us. Lacoste, what do you want to see from LGD Game 2? Want to change things up?
Maybe I'm just trying to think of a way that they could have used their draft. They saved the last pick for Witch Doctor, for a support, and it was Witch Doctor, which didn't give them that much chance to get on top of a hero like a Wisp, since they already left the Wisp inside of the pool. So maybe that was a bit mistake.
They didn't have the last pick last time. Presumably they will have this time round, so that maybe that they prioritise something different. I mean, we don't see many teams picking supports last, do we?
Yeah, but that last pick really didn't pay off. Like, Witch Doctor didn't provide them that hero that they needed just to get on top of the Wisp besides Chronosphere, and no burst damage whatsoever, and they lacked control as well. That's maybe they should change things around. Most of the teams play and leave their last pick just for the carry hero, which is the best,
especially
in my opinion,
against Liquid, because they prioritize so much of the matchup. They want the lane dominating matchup. They want that pressure, the early pressure. Because if you think about the last game, they can't even switch their lanes because Tide does well against Beastmaster, Tide does well against Void in the lane. So that was also out of the window for them. They didn't really have too much options other than to do their default laning.
They picked a Void into, I think there was already Viper on the field, right?
There was.
And so it means that you also can't run like a Void mid or something like that, which we have seen teams try and employ as well.
Yeah.
So again, there was just felt like very little options for them.
So Liquid is on Radiant again, but so I assume LGD chose first pick this time. Yeah, and Liquid chose to go for the Radiant. So the IO is the Wiz is going to be banned. So no Wiz. So one of the other two is going to be released into
the wild.
Like, Radiant has a really good win percentage against the Dire throughout the EAC.
It does, yes. Earlier on, it was 14-4 in the main stage alone.
Like that can't be completely random. It has to do with the vision and the Roshan. Once the tier 1 towers fall, it's kind of easier when we're playing Radiance to defend the Rosh and go into the Rosh pit. That's just my opinion. And the warding feels like teams figured out how to ward into the Dire jungle. Like, these wards barely get dewarded.
So they're gonna release the bear this time.
Yeah, or take it themselves.
So if they give the Lone Druid away, what kind of opening you want against Lone Druid? Lifestealer is okay against the bear.
Razor is good against the bear.
Yeah, Razor's good too, and Razor's in the pool.
Early Terrorblade ban.
Yeah, because LGD have first phase the Terrorblade. They put a lot of priority on the hero because of how they want to, a bit similar to Pycat.
Build it around him.
I mean, yeah, he wants to be that ultimate carry hero in the game.
Leaves Omni Knight out in the pool.
5 seconds
If they don't take the Lone Druid here, Liquid take it, don't they?
Possibly. They first faced the Lone Druid with like maybe a couple of times here.
I'm not a big fan of Tusk early on, because you can pick these mobile heroes that are not affected by the shards.
But it does hide a lot of the things that they want to do, and they get to see 2 picks.
It's still one of the better position for heroes in general, providing the vision. You have something that pierces through the BKB, the shard block. You are changing the way these fights are going to happen because of the block. Also, with the snowball saved, this hero pretty much has everything. But still, that early pickup, I think Team Liquid will draft more around like a defensive lineup against the Tusk.
I think the biggest thing is to make sure that your mid matchup is okay, because the Ice Shard's threat.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's easy to kill. We've seen so many games. Tusk plus what DP. That's a very common one. Very high kill threat on the mid lane. Disruptor again, though. I'm starting to feel like teams have been getting a lot better at abusing Disruptor in the early game. Like, the hero doesn't do so well against dual lanes, tri lanes.
10 seconds
And last
remaining.
game, Liquid had to pull GH from the off lane to the safe lane to deal with that.
The performance that stands out the most would be Solo's Disruptor and the way that he was able to go off in many laning phases in a fashion that we typically do not see Disruptors do well.
This was the pick that I expected the last game against the Beastmaster. They're gonna go for it now.
10
Maybe
seconds
anticipating another Kotal game. And Night Stalker does go really well with
5
Disruptor.
seconds remaining.
Give the vision into the glimpse.
This will be GH's Night Stalker.
MC has played it, but I think it was very long ago. I'm not sure how long ago was it, but Night Stalker can definitely still fit a core role.
Yep.
So technically still quite a flexible opening for Liquid here. And generally against Night Stalker, you wanna draft around more group up team fight because you are not going to have fun if you're split up and trying to farm. Because Night Stalker with the vision control will make it very difficult for you to do that. So I think some sort of like team fight build up here would be good for LGD. I don't really like Beastmaster against Night Stalker.
Also, one of the reasons that I don't like Tusk as a first pick, the Sigil, if you somehow sneak it into the later stages of the pick, if they don't have a lineup that can kill Sigil, that is actually huge. With the Night Stalker, he can fly over the hills, see where the Sigil is standing, has a high attack speed, and he can take down Sigil pretty quickly as well. It's about those little things.
It's a bonus thing about Tusk. Sigil is something I would say underrated.
Yes.
It's very good against, I think Brewmaster is one of a very good example to give. You use your ultimate, you split, and the Sigil is like following
Liquid's
your
turn
splits.
to
So
bat.
it makes it very difficult to output damage.
I
So,
like this just because it feels like they
This is
still
the
have...
kill lane. No, the kill lane, Tusk and Lash. This
Yeah.
is very likely going to be their mid hero. I think right now LGD is just trying to enable the Tusk pick to be
10
putting a lot of
seconds
pressure onto
remaining.
Liquid in the laning phase.
And it's still relatively open because you can run it as a
5
fight
seconds
position, though we haven't
Yeah.
seen that from LGD specifically.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like both teams were trying to get more information on each other, and neither one relented in that first opening phase. Neither one picked a defined core position.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I think, very important with how teams are drafting right now.
LGD's
The more
turn to
information you can
bat.
squeak out, the better opportunities you have at outdrafting your opponents. So they take out the Abaddon. We've seen this hero from Vici and Mineski yesterday.
Yeah.
It seems to have
10
been able to
seconds
create a lot of
remaining.
pressure with the Helm of Dominator, take down towers, a lot of laning
5
presence,
seconds remaining.
like a good front line for your team.
I think you also want to ban the Omni Knight as well, right?
Liquid's
Just
turn to
because of
ban.
the potential of
LGD's
Leshrac.
turn
Mm.
to ban.
It might be up to something. They ban Abaddon and Razor. So those two heroes are very lane focused.
Dragonite, maybe, and Omni Knight as well.
Omni.
Yeah, Omni Knight is the one I'm thinking. Because Omni Knight does provide you with the
10
repel, which
seconds
is
remaining.
great against the Lash. So you
Yeah.
can just dive and just kill him.
5
And I also don't think
seconds
you want to give it to
remaining.
LGD, but they've got this.
Yeah, I mean, with the
Opening
Razor ban,
pick.
I think it's putting a lot of
Liquid's
pressure
turn
on them to
to
think
pick.
about, oh, they're not going to take it out, so they're going to leave it in the pool, possibly also considering taking up on themselves. They ban out the Pugna, which is also, Pugna and Viper are two very good heroes
LGD's
against the
turn to
Lash
pick.
mid. So,
So again, Liquid's lineup. They have one more pick. I don't think LGD plays Lone Druid, which is still in the pool, which fits Team Liquid's lineup pretty well. And if you look at the timings again, try to look into that whenever Team Liquid plays. They are
10
trying to
seconds remaining.
go for 20-25 minute games with the first
5
Roche. This first
seconds remaining.
Aegis is really important for them.
So you can get Rubik and define this Leshrac as a core if you want. It's funny that you mentioned Brewmaster earlier because that is one of the better heroes against Omni, though has been away for so long.
because long cooldown.
Yeah, just too slow of a hero.
Maybe it can work in very specific situations. I'm not very sure because I haven't played a lot.
Certainly not this situation though, right? He's got Disruptor and Night Stalker against him. So I'm not.
all you need is Aeon Disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that out yesterday, didn't we? All we
Yeah.
need here is one of those legendary FY Rubiks. That would be nice.
Team Liquid's turn to pick.
Or we can just go back for the Void.
Team fight. And Void is one of the, I think back before Omni was changed, Void was one of the better heroes against the Repel and the Guardian Angels because just Chrono. You want to have a disable that goes through
10
the Repel.
seconds
That is
remaining.
the key thing of defeating Omni Knight. You
And
need to have that spell.
And I guess the Void now, no
LGD's
tide.
turn to pick.
Yeah, they can't really pick the tide and they're going to grab the bear that was left in the wild, you know, somewhere.
But they need not to pick any big ulti cooldowns on side of LGD because Team Liquid's lineup doesn't rely on anything.
Really,
They
really
can just
fast.
fight all the time.
Well, the thing with Lone Druid is it's going to give
10
them
seconds
freedom.
remaining.
The supports are not going to be needing to spend as much time as babysitting
5
the Lone Druid, so
seconds.
maybe Disruptor gets a couple of levels. He's going to move around. That's a good pick against the Lone Druid. It's going to limit his damage, and they're going to need like wave clear against the incoming 5-man of Liquid.
Yeah, it also kind of puts you on equal ground, right, to an Omni Knight when it comes to your team fight and sustain.
Yeah, and Void
10
will provide the
seconds
Chronosphere as a disable for that Firestorm, which is really, really potent. A lot of
5
damage.
seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
It still means we can go either way. Here for LGD, they can go for a last pick,
Mid hero
some
or
sort of
left,
mid hero, or they can go for like
or
you know,
support.
say like a Phoenix or something as a support.
But I don't know, like Phoenix is great against, because it's percent damage, it's great against the bear. But
Yeah.
it's a slow hero. But I've said that twice already when I see the hero, like from Vici, but Vici won both of their games with Phoenix. So
Yep.
maybe Phoenix can work if given the right composition around him. Because Phoenix still does fight really well outside of the
LGD's
Supernova,
turn to
the
bat.
Sunray, the Fire Spirits. So they take out the AA, like classic bread and butter hero with the Faceless Void. Does fit their lineup very well, and they have the Omni Knight because you have the Chilling Touch that goes through Repel, and then you have the Ice Blast that stops
10 seconds remaining.
the healing from Omni Knight. It's just a good ban.
So
5
core-wise,
seconds
what do you
remaining.
think could be a pick here for LGD against Lone Druid? I was thinking of some of those Shadowblade
LGD's
cores.
turn to pick.
Just get on top of the Lone Druid when he's trying to split push because it feels like Liquid's going to be playing a lot of 4-1.
Could be a Dragonite, or they might shift back to Witch Doctor, which is good against the bear as well.
Yeah.
Well, I think Witch Doctor makes the
10
draft
seconds
stable.
remaining.
I'm also favoring that, but then you run the risk of
5
because
seconds
you're gonna
remaining.
put a Lash mid. So I think you might expect the Lash to have a bad mid matchup, or maybe they could do the Lone Druid mid against the Lash. I don't know if that's a good matchup for the Lone Druid. I'm not sure, but you should be okay, I think, as a Lone Druid. So they have that flexibility between what kind of lanes they want to have.
They don't have much lockdown. Maybe I'm thinking of some
10
burst
seconds
damage.
remaining.
Queen of Pain. They need something that comes online. Comes
5
online
seconds
fast.
remaining.
So Lone Druid will have enough time to farm his Radiance. Or maybe
What about just a normal
or a
like
DP.
S?
Or a DP. She's really not bad against the task rotations. You can always two-man Spirit Siphon.
You don't want to roll on DP generally. Very difficult for them to kill him. Does provide them with like some team fight, which their team fight is not that weak. Omni Knight ulti and the Disruptor ultimate plus the vision control from NS.
Yeah, they have a lot of silence if they go for a DP. Night Stalker, Disruptor ulti. Nope.
You may now select your heroes.
They just want to
Lifestealer
play
got
like a fast-paced game. I think this is a good direction when you're up against especially heavy cooldown ultimates. You're just gonna brawl, you know. They're not gonna need your ultis as much as LGD is gonna need their ultimates.
Another focus on the laning phase, right? Because they can have Lone Druid mid, then they can have the Lifestealer
Yeah,
matched up against the
because
Underlord.
Lone Druid is not a good matchup against
Yeah.
Underlord in the lane, and Lifesteal is a much better matchup.
Yeah, and then going into the mid game, he's going to be strong versus the Lashrak again. So
Okay, let's go down the line. Cap, start with you.
let's go for Liquid. I think it's a similar story where they focus on the laning phase from their draft, and I think they'll just be able to ball in.
Does feel like a very similar draft.
Yep, very similar draft, and I think LG's lanes this time are not as strong as before, so Liquid.
Okay, 2 for Liquid.
I'll go with the Liquid.
Oh,
Again, I'm
welcome, welcome.
welcome
Wait,
on board.
what's going on? Like, did you
Blitz
hug
agreed
or
earlier,
something?
now Lacoste is agreeing
And
with
what's
Winter.
going on?
Come on,
Weird.
let's make peace.
No,
No?
no.
All right, well, it got kind of friendly and then it went off the rails. So they've all gone for Liquid here on the panel. I guess they're all going for the team that won the first game. Can they convert, though? Can they make it 2-0 and reach yet another final, this time for a major? We're about to find out.
Welcome everybody back to the Shouting Cast. I'm Toby1 here with Swindle Melons. And we are going to get underway. It's actually really loud in here. That's why we're shouting during game 1. But game 2 will hopefully be super. Hi, Kyle. How you doing, Kyle?
Hey Toby.
Hi, Kyle.
I'm doing good. I'm just hanging out, relaxed, watching some Dota 2.
Yeah, you know, just having a cold one back
Yeah,
on the
nothing
couch,
crazy.
just enjoying a game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be too complimentary of the best team in the world. You know, I might be a little biased. You know, they only won 1 TI.
Come on, they're not,
Anybody
they're
can
not
win
even
1
NA.
TI.
Come
Yeah.
on, like what the hell, man?
They-
Like I thought it was only NA and VP
Yeah.
that were any good.
I mean, Kuroki's been in the scene for what, like 12 years?
I think
Why couldn't he win a TI in 07?
I think it's actually closer to 15.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to date back before the dawn of time. But yeah. Sorry, just to clarify the joke at the very, very beginning, we got a lot of feedback at the end of game number 1. We were shouting a little bit because the Chinese are even amped up even more in our ears, and this crowd gets a little bit louder too. Hence,
But no
the shout.
excuses.
no excuses.
It's all about the show.
All right. You suck then, Kyle. Get
Guys,
good, all right?
It's my first time.
Yeah.
Real quick, LGD placed these 2 wards without being seen. They got one on the mid, one blocking the pull in the bottom lane. So should help secure their area. They are going to play around this Tusk with the shard block on bottom. So Underlord, one of the heroes that's favored in a matchup against the melee hero if he gets a little help. So I think they get him level 3, and then he should have a really good time down bottom against Lifestealer. But top, Ame's going to have a lot of issues.
Yeah, they're trying to just zone him out completely or keep the attention of the Witch Doctor towards that top lane too. And X-Nova, at least like we saw his Witch Doctor in game 1, it was very effective at adding more pressure, adding more zone. A little bit of trouble for Miracle, but he's okay.
Yeah, the key hero for LGD is going to be their Leshrac. I think maybe he's their X factor as a player, and that hero, if he gets ahead, can just sort of take over. It's the same though, where they really only have this Chronosphere to play around, and as we saw last game, Liquid plays around that incredibly well.
Yeah. If they had their flying vision, the Night Stalker, like repel positioning of the Omni Knight's going to be critical for him, and even Kuro. Like Kuro has been able to punish it so heavily too. Like the Chrono doesn't work, it's kills that come directly after because you're getting glimpsed back into wall storms. This is really problematic for Miracle. He's got open wounds, so if anyone decides to actually fight him underneath the tier 1 tower, he's going to let that rip and get a lot more life back. So he's playing the edge of the knife, but he's not going to get cut just yet.
But this is the sort of advantage. Underlord actually crushes a lane like
double
this.
TPs. He's got open wounds onto Chalice. Kuro arrives too as Chalice tries to just fight underneath the tower. Snowball protection, but GH and Kuro are here. Miracle is low, so they got to be careful how much damage is out. Chalice will get the first blood. He'll lose his life instantly after, and there's not enough mana to really keep this chase going on FY.
The early landing phase definitely favoring LGD. They did a lot more to shut down the Lifestealer than Liquid was able to do up top against Void, especially because Void versus Omni is not nearly as unfavorable as a behind Lifestealer versus an Underlord.
The run for the regeneration rune. GH comes out on top. And FY, he'll have to burn off his clarity for it, so a 50 gold run. Mind Control's going to have a little bit of fun with X-Nova. Not really the greatest hero to try and zone out an Omni Knight. An Omni Knight went for the 1-0-1 so far.
At mid lane, though, maybe slight advantage against Matumba Man, and I actually think he'll continue to increase his advantage as he gets more levels. This lightning stun build on Lesh is very potent.
Bottom, snowballs are out. Charles is in trouble. Again, he has to go for the rains of fire. Kuro can't get the distance out, but GH will be revenged. Once again, Charles will sacrifice himself. This time it won't be for a core, it'll just be for a support.
He's done a very good job of spending his money as he dies, though, so he's not losing anything on these deaths.
Nova finally able to do something with that 1 point up in Maledict. harassment into the Omni Knight. Tuskar was on his way in. He's actually hiding in the tree lines for the moment.
I don't like that TP. They lose a lot of their strength in the bottom lane, which is the lane they're crushing right now, all for a hopeful kill. Like, this is very optimistic, and Liquid has a ward right there if FY cuts this tree to move forwards.
Yep. And of course, LGD have no idea that this ward exists. They know there's going to be some kind of vision somewhere, because they didn't even de-ward. None of the camps were blocked up. This is normally the best indicator, of course, that there is some kind of vision, some kind of observer ward. Mind Control might have to come up and try and stop the pull.
He glyphed to stop the pull there, Toby.
He did?
He glyphed the archer, so it stayed alive, and then the hard camp didn't aggro. That was so sick. That was some next level shenanigans right there.
Very rarely. It's something which you never really point out either. The fact that the glyph now actually covers the creep wave as well, so he had to delay the creep wave from pushing down on the top.
Yeah, it was crazy with 2 hits left on the archer. Like, I love little things like that. Dota is such an incredibly difficult and complex game. Every patch changes it ever so slightly, and part of the reason you see teams that, like, they win one land, they get knocked out first at the next is it's so hard to stay on top because there's all these little things that you learn from other teams. Like, even just like we saw Zai's ward the other day, right, where he cuts a tree and places it at the top right of the camp, and now they miss both sentries. Like, that'll never work again, but it might get you one advantage in one game.
For a moment there, I thought we were going to have a nice close replay of that moment, but instead we see the Roshan statue and then LGD.
Dude, it was sick.
That Roshan statue is actually really, really cool. I like the little miniature ones we have on the desk.
Yeah.
The Dota 2 logo seems a little bit out of place, however. Like you can at least be stylish and remember the old defense logo, which is the Dota 2 logo on the shield.
Yeah.
So you just slam it on there. But we can come back live. The game has been unpaused. Everyone is no longer Calais, and we can continue the match.
I will say, I can't really tell you who's going to win this one. It's all about the timings, and I just love Underlord. I think that this hero is key when you're trying to play. We saw it succeed yesterday against TNC. I think it's really key in a game like this. Liquid loves to play high tempo. So good.
Keep your eyes on mid. The Dire are scanning. They know some kind of gank is coming, but thanks to GH's Illusion Rune, it's going to charge around the back of the tower. The double stun's there from Somnus, but it never connects on a real hero. That's why they have to bring in the extra help. The Tuskar, FY Snowball doing work, and the double Maledict. GH and Matoma need to get out of here. Thanks to help, they're having Kuro in the entangle. It connects onto Somnus. The luck is just not with him this day. Kuro has dragged the creep wave off the side as well, so LGD...
Yep.
They can't back and just chase this.
I think the Witch Doctor skill 201. I think if that's a 2-point Maledict, they might get at least 1 kill out of that. Perfect shrine timing, right at 5 minutes.
Oh boy. LGD, they're going to be a little annoyed about that. They committed a lot of resources to try and control that mid lane. Team Liquid just having the numbers.
But I just want to note, LGD might have made a critical error. When the Tusk rotated top, no one's been bottom. And now all of a sudden, Underlord's level 3, Miracle's almost level 6.
And Livestealer almost has the #1 CS on the board. As far as net worth goes, he's only behind by 100 or so.
And it's something you really want to avoid is ditching the lane that is winning. If they keep the Tusk there, they're going to be trading 2-on-3.
It's going both ways too. Like, it's not even just the bottom lane, it's the top lane. Mind Control versus Arme. Like, Arme is taking so much purification damage. He's burning Time Walk all the time, and he's about half a level or a quarter of a level behind that of the Omni Knight. This was a lane which had to have extra commitment early on to try and help Mind Control, and now Arme is the one falling behind. X-Nova, we're going to work with FY. FY having the haste rune, the perfect shard block, but doesn't matter when you have Hunter of the Night from GH. He's not even just, he wants to get into this fight. He's chasing down X-Nova. FY with the body blocks, he can just stay in front of him, getting the time to back in towards the shrine. But Kuro, they want to fight this one. Mind Control is in the neighborhood. It's only a level 1 glimpse, so Kuro needs a little bit more distance to make this work. The shards, paralyzing cast bounces up to Mind Control. It'll go into the creep wave. Then there you go. Kuro will end up popping. The glimpse doesn't pull the track away fast enough. And they never even burnt the shrine at the beginning, so LGD get everything back that they expended.
The thing is, mid lane, Matumba Man pushing hard with a catapult, level 6. And bottom lane, this is the key. Lifestealer crushes Underlord with this sort of lead. That's why they had to start there, but once you leave this guy on an island, he's in trouble.
Yep.
So Liquid will take that trade all day because they're winning the other 2 lanes and getting tons of creeps out of trade.
And Miracle can just sit behind the tower as well. Like, even if they want to attack him, he can just infest into a creep and just have a free trip away to safety. It's like an Uber you don't have to pay for.
And look at the ward he has to his left as well. This will see this rotation.
Top lane, Purification's out. Arme just used his time walk. That's what they're waiting for. They want to get a defensive chrono out from him. Thanks to the fact that you have no silence, however, Arme can just keep the jump going. GH, another void in a little bit too deep. X Nova, wow! Okay, they have the damage. They got Purification. Microtrol wants to help him. GH starts to TP with the repel to protect him. The damage won't be there to kill him, but Microtrol locked in by the shards. F1 needs to stay with him, but actually, how?
Dude.
It's 2 points of degeneration aura. They can't kill him. They can't control him. They can't stop anything.
Yep. That's just perfect play. Ame makes a slight mistake. He doesn't want a chrono. He gets caught in between ideas, and he's dead.
Somnus, he's committing to try and kill off this bear. But then again, maybe not just for the bear. They Savage Roar him back. Ame double chrono. That's going to be nice. With the lightning bounce down, Somnus secures both of the kills on Kuro and Matumbaman.
Really good rotation from Ame. The dive from Liquid is good, but they have to foresee that carry TP coming. And that's the thing. There's North American carries. They're not going to TP mid. They're like, oh, I'm behind. I need to go back and farm top. Ame's immediately looking to rotate, use that chrono, secures 2 huge kills for his team.
They're going to look to get another one top lane. Microtrol pushing the tower, but 3 heroes in the neighborhood. Paralyzing cast on the way. Quick repel, TP away to safety. Time lock, time lock.
Almost.
Not gonna come, though. But this was such great kills for mid lane before. So Somnus is getting a lot more momentum now on the Lashrak, a hero who you want to have this momentum on. He's got the double nulls, and he's going to go in for a Yule Scepter after also having Arcane Boots. So this Lash, a lot of regeneration coming out.
I gotta say, I'm just completely unrelated, but I love watching Miracle play Lifestealer because he likes treads, which I appreciate, but he doesn't buy Radiance. And he doesn't max Feast, Toby. He maxes his Rage because it's his best scaling skill by far.
Mid gank, snowball forward. GH was just looking for his level 6. He was looking for the nighttime. He can go into Hunter of the Night, but it will be pointless. There is way too much control there from LGD, and no one from Team Liquid were coming to save him. And now with 1 point up in Edict, Fortification has to be burned here by Team Liquid. They're trying to get a revenge, which is the Hellbear Smasher and Eldoge pushing that tier 1 tower. Thanks to the rotation of both Pit Lord, Underlord, as well as the Faceless Void. Doesn't have Chronosphere, but it's still intimidating enough that they're being a little bit more cautious about it.
Miracle's going to TP mid, defend this push. You can't really mess with the Lifestealer that's this strong. He'll almost have his armlet, and in the meantime, he pushed out bottom and then left it for Kuro. So his movement secures Kuro some space because they need him to be level 6. And yeah, you saw the leap away. He almost got glimpsed back there.
That would have been disastrous because that would have been just an easy lane for Kuro and even damage onto the tower. GH, trouble on the bottom river, trying to play the high ground. He's got 1 charges in a second, but with 3 points up with the Maledict, you realize there was no point to expend it. Top lane, the TP out from Challenge. You can get rooted up, but he'll still reach the bottom lane. He just couldn't fight the top lane. Every time the bear would attack the tower and they try to contest it, the bear would get purified. So it just gets the damage back again. It does the damage and gets the life back again, allowing them just to keep forcing, and now they get the tier 1 tower.
Yep, and this is, like, they have the double catapult now. Like, this is the strength of this Lone Druid build, which I think this little tweak, thanks to, I believe it was Envy who popularized this in SCA a couple of weeks ago. You don't get any of this weird build-up. You just go Helm of the Dom, no boots, straight into Radiance. And it's so much more effective than a Midas because it allows this hero to provide so much pace for his team versus just, okay, I'll farm woods by myself until ready.
It's like you push with a catapult wave and then you steal the other catapult. All of a sudden with your bear, you're doing like insane amounts of damage. Miracle's about to take this mid town. They'll burn the fortification once more, LGD. Somnus is the man in defense, and with 1 attack from the catapult, Miracle should be able to have it. So he's just zoning out Somnus so he can finish the tower. Able to do so, ensure the cash. Then bottom lane becomes the next target. A jump down. Kuro doesn't have level 6 just yet, so Mind Control will have to do this the old-fashioned way. The denial will be there. Vision, however, not there. And it's also only a level 2 glimpse, so no range either for Kuro to pull him back. He really needs some levels on this Disruptor. I
do believe they have the Tome available, though, so once he can afford that, he will be good to go. He'll actually get 6 off of a Tome. And I love this. 4-7, Liquid's down, yet they're still up 2,000 gold in advantage. And it's just to demonstrate how well they're prioritizing lanes, and also, of course, they have the 2 objectives, and they denied LGDs.
Discussing that during the group stage, right? Like, just how much kills don't mean as much. Just before this tournament even began, I was watching a couple of games from Newbie in the local Dota leagues here in China, and they were winning games against VG Gaming, where VG had like 36 kills and Newbie had like 20. And Newbie was still winning the game because at the end of the day, like the way they changed out the comeback mechanic is so different too. What everything is worth. FY, target number 1. He'll need something to snowball to, or he can just try and make the trees in the shard block. GH gives the vision.
Yep, he saves the glimpse.
They find another target. They're going after Chalice. The pit is down. Miracle will be able to outrun it. GH trying to get that silence. Chrono Sphere. The glimpse pulling him away. They need more damage to connect into Miracle, and they've got it. Miracle will fall. Mind Control. He just starts his TP under the cover of Repel. LGD have nothing to get through that. The shards, it won't block Kuro. He runs further down the lane, allowing X-Nova to potentially get in range for this. The paralyzing cast. GH keeping his distance, however, making sure there is no more bounce. And X-Nova, wait, what? Cancels his TP, wants to try and turn around with Maledict plus the Deathwood. No. Hunter in the Night. You know he's going to get away from those shots.
You can see why they picked this Night Stalker for GH. Very difficult for a Tusk to ever lock him down. Really good synergy, and the silence could be so key late game if they ever find Void Yules.
Yules mid, going to go in for that split Earth before Omni-Knight can actually get his Repel off. And they keep the stuns going thanks to Walrus Punch. And the damage of the Deathward of X-Nova. Miracle will still want to fight this. They've committed a hell of a lot of abilities, and he wants revenge. GH runs forward. They have the Void. Shards are out once more, so Miracle, under that rage, has to run around the shards. Somnus, now the rage wears off, and Somnus' damage. It's intimidating, so Infest escape.
Really well played there by Miracle. He does not want to get Yules with rage down, because he can just die immediately as he comes back to Earth. Lots of stun lockdown from LGD.
LGD's got a huge rotation coming bottom lane too, so did Liquid. This whole mid-fight just rotated over X-Nova, walking up into the blind spot. He didn't see it. The snowball is also there. It's onto the back of GH, and man, FY is going to go in deep. The shard block! He pushes him out. GH can fly over the top, but where's the stun? Where's the control? FY the glimpse! Kuro reaches him just in the nick of time.
Yeah, this next 2-3 minutes are going to be super key. Kuro has 3 wards to place and his ultimate ready. So this is the perfect timing to make a smoke, find a kill, Lone Druid pressures a lane, and you get tons of map control and a tower off of this play. If they get these wards down uncontested, it's going to be huge for Liquid. I think they take Miracle. Yep, they have no Infest, but we'll see.
It's the weird part of this game, right? Like, you don't have a normal, like a natural carrier for a Lifestealer bomb. Like, you got a Radiance Bear potentially later. That's an option. Miracle's just your frontline fighter. It's bringing the fight to the tier 1 tower bottom lane. Still doesn't have the full Desolator yet. I say still, it's 15 minutes in. Observer Ward, defensive up from LGD, gives really good vision of Kuro coming in, but then Kuro able to get the Storm and the wall up, so X-Nova copping a lot of damage. Trouble, however, for GH, trying to retreat back out again, but here's your Walrus Punch, here's your control. He can't fly over in time, the wings get clipped, and the Night Stalker falls.
But if you look around, top lane, there's an Omni-Knight pushing, mid lane, there's a Lone Druid. That death is good for LGD, but do they really get anything out of it? They smoke immediately across to the left, but
sacrifice, right? Like, it's like Radiance is still on the way for the Lone Druid. The mech is coming up for Mind Control. This is going to give them such insane power in the team fights. Or potentially just like forcing even Roshan. Once that Desolator is on the line sealer, he can just slip inside the pit, and it's LGD's choice if they want to fight into it.
Yep, the big timing is going to be the Radiance and the Deso, as you just mentioned. Mind Control once again going for mech, but he's in trouble.
Yules into stun, into Snowball that went a little bit off target, but kill will still happen nonetheless.
Yep.
It's happening again too with the Faceless Void. Are you okay? Because we were kind of having a little bit of a debate after game 1 about the Faceless Void build. Going for this Mask of Madness, saying how you always see the Battle Fury. You need something to help him scale. He's going back into the BKB again.
I really don't like this. I feel like you have to buy items that accelerate you because, yeah, you might win this one fight with Mask BKB, but you will get out-carried by Lone Druid.
Somnus, you overstayed your welcome. He turned around for a quick point up at Edict. X-Nova's in the neighborhood. He's already TPing out. Glimpse will pull him back. They want to get all 3 here. X-Nova going to go into the ultimate. Kuro will cancel it with one of his own. And, well, Matoma can just move the attention over towards the Witch Doctor. FY, successful TP. Yep, it will be in time. Same for Lashrak, all the way home.
Yeah, really good move by LGD. They have both cores shoving side lanes, and excellent play. Man, FY is just so good at Dota 2. He saves his Leshrac there with really good just awareness. Snowballing close, sharding to save. You don't want to lose maybe there, and they get mid tower as a trade. But like, my only concern for LGD is how they scale as the game continues, because it looks to me like if you take out this Lesh, their damage output's going to wither.
And that's what we're talking about with the Faceless
Exactly.
Void, where you need the Battle Fury to increase his items. So when he's got these 3 big tier 3 items, he does more. Chronosphere and damage for the moment. It should be enough because they caught Miracle with his armlet down. So there wasn't a lot of strength to fight with. They'll instantly turn this into tower pressure. That's 3 points up in Edict on this Lashrak.
Yeah, I think if you're LGD, they have the Crimson Guard up. Next Chrono, maybe you look to contest Roche. But you have to try and win this game earlier, I feel. Because once Lone Druid gets up to like that 3rd, 4th item, he's going to start punishing this Void's item decisions hard. And Leshrac as well starts to fall off once you get to a point where a Lifestealer gets repelled and then rages, and you don't do any damage to him.
Radiance Bear is up. It took 18 minutes for Lone Druid to get that Radiance. Potentially looking for a fight onto Kuro, running away from FY shards. He started the animation, or at least started the stop, to try and get Snowball off, and Kuro, he's just going to Stormwall. Keeps Chalice on the end of it. Mind Control's going to be in the neighborhood. Repels up to FY. Snowball doesn't do any kind of stun, but GH, they're in through the rear. This Radiance Burning Bear is a real nuisance to him. A defensive Eul Scepter, this time from Lashrak. He's got the distance, he's got the shield thanks to the Crimson Guard, but the Bear continues the Radiance Burn. Somnus will go down. FY can't keep the run. Next Nova's being glimpsed back over as well. FY will be able to escape from this one. X-Nova just commits, lets everything go, but so does the Omni Knight. GA to protect him from the physical damage. Means Maledict cannot do any more with its ticks.
Miracle already running into Roche. This is huge for Liquid. Chronosphere up in 30 though.
They'll have the confidence to do this before he's got the Desolator, primarily because Lashrak is down.
Yep.
Witch Doctor's not there, and Chronosphere is still on cooldown for another 20 seconds.
They can scout this, but Liquid or not, they play to win, Toby, and they're not backing down from this Roche.
Yeah, they want the Aegis, the Immortal. Kuro wants to be a little bit more cautious about this. Chalice going to burn the Crimson Guard, coming out a little bit further forward. FY, maybe defensive Snowball. Yep, it will pull them in. Who are they going to go towards? It's towards the Bear. And then the Centaur Stomp is the perfect position to get the double stun. They're running away out of pure fear from the Savage Roared Bear. And a buyback. Tuskar's coming in. They want to keep fighting this one. Chrono just came off cooldown. 3 heroes plus Bear being caught. Night Stalker's on the edge. The glimpse away. Night Stalker, perfect time lock. The first time he came back. Now they need the damage. Somnus turns it on with the Pulse Nova. Miracle. Rage can help him survive through this, but now Maledicted. The Kuro wall tries to create space, but Miracle has no friends nearby to infest into. Actually, he already used it. 3 heroes down. It's LGD that will go into the pit.
The story of the fours. GH starting that fight off great by silencing the Witch Doctor, preventing the Coconut to save, but LGD does something we've seen a lot at this tournament. They use 2 buybacks to contest the Roche. Now they get it. That's huge for them.
Massive as well, considering there was no way that Liquid were going to be able to get around that. There's no Bear for 72 seconds. It got killed off during the fight, and there's no resummon from atop of him, so he's right now just fighting with the Dominator, effectively removing about 4k gold from the map.
It's so big for them. We saw last game just how strong Liquid is. Once they hit this timing with Aegis, they get that core item on Matumba Man, the Deso Armlet on Lifestealer, and all of a sudden they can play so aggressively.
They want to go for more, a double damage on the Faceless Void. He was looking at GH. The BKB to protect Arme. That's fully completed 10-second BKB, as we do have a quick drop. Players were having a couple of problems previously, but this is now looking a little bit hairier. Let's have a look at this fight once more inside the pit.
Yep. And you can see, so there's the silence on Underlord, but I believe GH flies up, he finds the Witch Doctor, prevents the follow-up. A great Centaur stun here. They finish off the Underlord, they finish off the Tusk, but it's all about the buybacks. And look at the spells Liquid have used. Remember, MC had GA'd earlier to set up the kills, then get into Roche, but this buys the time. All of a sudden there's a Void, and look at the Tusk shards. He snowballs to follow up stun on the Omni, and then blocks off the Lifestealer. They both die.
We're back into the real world now as Arme, under the cover of the BKB, avoids the glimpse of Kuro and will take his life as well.
Yep.
This is...
Yeah, the big difference is Miracle's game has not been nearly as powerful as the last one. He's 4th in net worth and only 1,000 ahead of the Underlord. He was further ahead than that at 7 minutes into the game.
They need a lot more power here, Team Liquid. They don't have it right now. For Miracle, he'll finish the Desolator, so things get a little bit better.
Yeah. And I will say, Ame's build does make a lot more sense when he's playing with an Underlord, and he's no longer necessary to deal all of the damage. You have a Leshrac and an Underlord instead of a DK Beastmaster, so there's actually so much damage in the Chrono, he doesn't really need to provide it. Stay alive, get off some good dilations, and just make space for the real damage dealers in his team.
That Observer Ward.
Yep.
Xnova threw it down FY, tried to lock Miracle in with the shards into the tree line, but it was just a little bit too short. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Matumban is pressuring this tier 1 tower. He's going to TP up. The creep wave is more than big enough to finish off the job. So they TP back in towards the mid.
Matumba Man queuing up a Blade Mail.
There goes the tier 1 tower on bottom lane. That creep wave continues to push. Nice pit, catching out Miracle. One charges, Infest Rage. He's going for everything at the moment. So holding the Infest Storm. It's a good one from Kura. Creates more space. Somnus, he can't get out of this one. He's locked inside the wall. So the Aegis Immortal will burn. The tier 2 tower has fallen in the mid, but LGD, they still kind of got problems on the bottom. This Donated Hellbearer is continuing the push while the mid fight's happening. They drag him back in. The Chrono is nice. It catches Kura. It catches the Life Steal, but Mind Control, a better position. The Guardian Angel protecting his cause, protecting GH as they're in very, very deep. Somnus, he needs to die. The time dilation from Arme is absolutely huge. They can't fight. They're so slow. Liquid can't run away. They're trying to. Mind Control just doesn't have the movement speed. Finally, the dilation will wear off, but the cast is even better. It's Practical Ravage from Xnova. Triple kill for Arme! LGD! They take a huge fight. They haven't got buybacks on Lifestealer or Omni Knight, so it's all up to Matulaman. He's still got this bear alive, so he can slow things down. GH in through the rear. Snowball, protection's out. Disruptor will buy back. GH is in trouble. Kuro, he actually TP'd inside the shards on the front line. There was no retreat to be had. They're in so much trouble here, Team Liquid. They're going to lose this mid-tier 3 tower. Their advantage is the Leshrac is not available here anymore. He TP back down the bottom lane to deal with that, but the bear will die. Night Stalker is back alive. So is the bear. A quick resummon, a quick Pit of Malice. Chalice, what can he really find from this? The earned charge. GH can just reach him to find the kill. They want to get the rest of them out of here. Time dilation again for Arme. The bear is not in range of Lone Druid, so it cannot attack. It cannot get the entangle, but then the TPs are coming over towards the shrine. Arme can BKB, but Miracle has such huge damage. They just have to slow him down. The BKB, half a second. Now it wears off. Where is this distance closer? Hunter in the night. Up goes GH. Needs the void. Needs the silence. Didn't get either of these. And then the TP out from Arme will be successful.
Wow. The Underlord, man. The Firestorm is doing so much damage. The huge dilation maybe dies barely casting any spells, but because he's just standing still, they're tanking all this AoE damage, and the Underlord's just crushing them. That whole duration of the fight afterwards, maybe farmed 60 seconds bottom, then TP'd top, collected like 5 bounty runes. He nearly farmed a BKB after respawn, which was very fast because he had so many Bloodstone charges. And now all of a sudden, LGD seems to be in a dominating position in this game because all they need to do is kill the Lone Druid. And then the liquid damage output just disappears.
Yep.
And it's very easy to do that when you have a Witch Doctor Maledict and this Chronosphere against very limited save from Liquid. Once that GA wears off, and even before, the Underlord Reign of Terror, you cannot fight in fire.
Team Liquid need to steady the ship. They're still buying more items to give them more strength in the fights. The full pipe is now completed on Mind Control. He did great in the last fight. This ability for Team Liquid to just stand, seal, and deliver. But then they just couldn't walk. They couldn't reposition. Kuro's ulti can cancel off a little bit. It can actually break the Aegis the Immortal, but they were still fighting into that Aegis. And you can see now Matumban realizing the state of things. The damage isn't there. Yep. He's going to put a Blade Mail onto Eldoge.
And the thing about that item is that it's completely countered.
Actually, he's got double Blade Mail.
Yep. The thing is, they're going to have a pipe on Chalice soon and a Leshrac with a BKB. So all of a sudden, the reason he's buying the Blade Mail to reflect this magical damage is no longer going to be as effective because Somnus, or maybe, is going to be invulnerable, and the Underlord, he's just going to tank straight through it.
Can you reflect through double Blade Mails, though? Come on, he's got one on the bear and one on himself.
I mean, it's cute.
Unless I got a visual bug.
You are correct. He has 2 Blade Mails.
Okay.
It's a good idea if it works, but it's all about this BKB timing. The first Blade Mail is not going to, like double proc, isn't going to do much. But if he runs at the Leshrac with both of them and there's no BKB, then a big play.
TP from GH to try and stop X-Nova, who was just dewarding on the hillside, getting rid of that vision. The support is on the way from LGD. X-Nova needs to survive a little bit longer, but then the glimpse back and the ulti. Somnus has to burn the BKB already. Here's your Guardian Angel, Team Liquid. They have to survive through the BKB if they're going to try and take this. Chronosphere is out, and it's onto a solo Miracle. They're getting closer. Mind Control trying to get the extra heal. X-Nova, he brings the damage, combining it out with everybody else. They brought down the big one. They brought down Miracle. Now they need more. The pit will do the work. Kuro Mind Control controlled his FY snowballs in deeper. Somnus, he was protected by his defensive Fuel Scepter, so this lone Druid Bear with the Blade Mail is just not doing enough. But Tommen's Blade Mail can come back off cooldown now. They're going to start killing themselves, but it's just not enough damage from Team Liquid. LGD have all 5 alive. The only thing which is slowing him down right now is the fact that GH has kind of like stolen the wave, but
They
he
have
hasn't
the
stolen the
catapult.
catapult.
Yep. You can see Liquid's damage output, just, it isn't there. And at this point, LGD has so much sustain, they don't care about the Radiance Burn anymore. They have the pipe on Chalice, and all of a sudden, they're just walking through them.
Yep. And how does Team Liquid even stop this? They're losing a bottom lane of ranks. The pings are already coming from LGD to move towards the mid lane. One is not enough. They want more. Lone Druid will respawn, and he will be able to create a bear. But they need more of a fight. The Storm is on cooldown for 10 more seconds. There's your repelled up Miracle, jumping in deep. Chronosphere on cooldown for a while. They burn the BKB. Miracle, he needs to die, and he will die. That could be the game right there if LGD can keep this push going. Lone Druid will respawn now, so the next big target for them. The Chronosphere is still on cooldown, but it may not matter. If they can get that initiation, if they can even just kill off the bear, then this can work for LGD. The Crimson Guard and Prime protect them so well. The Storm, it's good from Kuro, catching in both Charles as well as FY. The Bear's able to actually have a little bit more time to beat through him, but that Crimson Guard lasts forever. Not to mention that Atrophy Aura is coming up so heavily from Chalice. He'll be protected, pulled back in again. One more attack from Kuro will do it, combining with the Thunder Strike. Underlord will fall, and now LGD, they're the ones that's taking a little bit more damage, but where is the sustain from Liquid? GH needs to get out, cannot do so. Shards will block him in. Buybacks are coming thick and fast with Lone Druid down, Life Stealer up in 8 seconds time. It's enough for Window, and they lock him in with a Chrono. Omni Knight, he will fall. No buyback available for him. That run away from GH up and towards the air, but GG is called. Liquid realize that resistance is futile to LGD. We will have ourselves a game 3. Thank God it's not a 2-0. I want to see more of this Dota.
For real, it's just so great watching these two teams play. Arguably the best team in the West versus the best team in China. Always, I think, just that's what Dota is at the end of the day. We've talked a lot about this upcoming TI. It's China's year. Liquid trying to repeat for the first time in Dota history. There's so much at stake, and this could honestly be a foreshadowing of what we might see at later events, and maybe even in Vancouver when the World Championship comes up for grabs.
Man, I'm happy with any game that doesn't go 3-0 in a best-of-5 final. So, yeah, I'm happy if these teams can go hammer and tongs together and Liquid aren't just dominant. But still, at the same time, Game 1 was fantastic for Liquid. LGD, they fight back. They have their own strength. Game 3, it's anyone's ball game.
It absolutely is, and I'm with you, Toby. Any game that doesn't go best of 3 or end 3-0 in a best of 5, or any game that finishes 2-0, frankly, when they're this good, it is tied up at 1-1 between LGD and Liquid. Our panel members are ready to break things down for you for game number 2 and look ahead to game number 3 as well. Lacoste, much better performance from LGD, and what's the difference? Because Liquid picked a very similar kind of lineup in game 2.
Yeah, the biggest difference with the recent changes on the buybacks, you don't report those players anymore, you commend them. With those 2 buybacks, actually won them the fight, and with the Aegis on Lash, they could easily roll from there. Also, Ame, with some godlike Chronospheres this game. Like in the first one, he couldn't find any openings. In the second one, it was most of the zoning Chronos, and he got, I think, at that Roche fight, 3-man Chrono as well. Also, they had a lot of sustain with the Underlord as their frontliner, Witch Doctor heal. Also, if you look at the amount of slow that they have Sigil, they have Lashrak, Lightning, and Time Dilation. Or is it Time Dilation, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can easily kite around, and when the Rage is down, when the Repel is gone. So this is the Roche fight. After that, I think if Team Liquid got the hands on Roche, they could have taken the fight, and maybe the outcome would be the same, like a 25-minute game.
Okay. Cap, what'd you make of it?
Yeah, I think a lot of it did come down to that one Roshan fight and the 2 buybacks that came out. I think the supports did a fantastic job. There were so many paralyzing casts that absolutely paralyzed Liquid in so many of these team fights. The Lone Druid is completely out of it sometimes because of that disable. Then I think there were so many snowball saves as well. Chalice also played a big part, even though it goes often unnoticed. I think that his part of being able to read the lanes and where to be on the map and where to be pushing really punished Liquid a lot in the early game. He was always taking advantage of Liquid's attempt at kills somewhere else on the map by just split pushing and getting some good early tower damage.
Winter, after having so many 2-0s in our best of threes, it's nice to get some of these that go the full distance, because it's got its own mini meta in it, isn't it?
Yeah, they somehow were able to utilize the weakness of this Night Stalker. Like I mentioned earlier, when they picked the Night Stalker, I think to deal with the Night Stalker, you make sure you draft like heavy 5-man lineup, and you just group up and you stick together. And the Night Stalker, I don't feel like he did a lot because of the way the opponents played. He did give vision for the glimpse in certain occasions, but I think overall this game, Liquid didn't have enough team fight, so they weren't able to clash head-on. Yes, there were the buybacks there from LGD, that was great, but if you can lose the game easily just because of one fight turning bad, it means that overall your composition, there's something wrong, there's something lacking. Team fight department, they didn't have enough team fight.
One of the heroes they banned out Cap first time round was the Lone Druid, and they let it through this time. Seemed like they had the answers for it as well.
Yeah, they did. It definitely puts Liquid in a different situation when they do grab that Lone Druid. It doesn't give you nearly the same kind of team fight potential. They end up having, like last time, they had the Lifestealer and Viper and then Tidehunter. That epitomizes a lot of early game fighting and a lot of team fight power. Here, it's definitely LGD who had the superior end of the stick with the Faceless Void and Leshrac.
If they go for the Lone Druid, I think they might have to consider taking out the Uberlord. The Uberlord just everything negated so much damage, had a good lane matchup. They just need to be careful with this kind of hero from LGD if they go for all this kind of mass physical damage or like very single target but not much team fight. I mean, Liquid have done this kind of lineups in the past, not so balanced, but they'd have to be very careful now.
Yeah, I checked the stats for the Underlord. Picked 16 times, almost 70% win rate for the hero. Just feels a little bit too high in my opinion. I mean, people start to realize that Underlord can't be left alone, so they just rotate one more hero to his lane. You play a lot of Underlord and just secure his early game. Otherwise, you're gonna have 3 people on top of you, and you're just gonna feed, and you're not gonna feel the influence of the Underlord.
Or
Accommodation.
as Winter calls it, the Uber Lord.
Yeah, it takes you home,
Yeah.
free of charge.
Taxi for Winter.
Free of charge, great. Can't be stopped,
Yeah, very mobile. We talked about that a lot as well, Cap, haven't we? So you were going to say something?
Yeah, it's the combination of the fact that he's able to shove out these waves and still be a really big team fight impact. And then I think also the percentage-based damage, that was a change a while back. I think that really is very helpful in this kind of meta where you do have a lot of tank power that comes out. And we see a lot of Dragon Knights here. It was a Lone Druid that we saw was particularly effective against. So I think that the hero, especially against the Lone Druid, counters in so many ways and feels good right now for the
All
moment.
right. MVP for this particular game, do we give that one to Arme?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very good Chronos.
Yeah. Had the ability to be able to cast him this time as well.
Yeah, because there's no Tidehunter in
Yeah.
the game, so you don't have the pressure that, oh, crap,
Yeah.
there's this one guy I have to get in the Chrono.
Yeah, I love the build on him. Both games he went for Mask of Madness and the BKB, just so he can be the front line. They had the save in terms of Snowball, but tanky Underlord as well. Then went for SNY just for extra tank, and there's no burst damage on side of Liquid whatsoever.
You know what? You guys don't want to give love to the supports? FY next Nova?
Well, that's some RNG on Witch Doctor.
Okay, but
bounces.
he still survived long enough to be able to cast them multiple times. And let's be real, FY had some really good snowballs, really good positioning for his hero.
Yeah, I like the shout-outs to the support. It's always good
So
with
second
me.
MVP. FY,
Second
third
MVP.
MVP.
Yeah.
X Nova.
okay.
All right.
All right, they're going to go for an extra MVP here. It's like MVP 1, 2, and 3 or something. I don't know, gold, silver, and bronze maybe. We'll discuss that during the break, but that's where we're heading right now as we get ready for game number 3 between LGD and Liquid. It's coming up after this.
Da 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 da.